ready. You're ready to go.
Hello, everybody. Fixing to go live here. Some of you maybe on Periscope already see me. If so, hang tight for a minute as we take care of a little bit of the house cleaning here, housekeeping. Cleaning? I don't clean anything. Get the YouTube up and running. Takes a second for it to catch up. And we are live on the YouTube, so let's give it a second to give the people a chance to come in and say hello. Boom. Messages there. It's week 9, everybody. Can you believe that? Not much, Scott. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Week 9 is when you look like your shirt. Become a carbon copy. It's getting crazy. A lot of hectic stuff going on. A lot of COVID issues this week, but nothing that seems to be impacting the games at all. They seem to have this all dialed in. Matthew Stafford is one that maybe is going to be a little issue here at some point. Well, he's supposed to fly on a private jet to Minnesota and be to the game in time. So plenty going on today. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions, and we will discuss them as always. I am here to help you figure things out. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're going to tell yourself what to do because you're going to have to beat yourself up on Monday if it doesn't go right or not. But I will talk it through with you and kind of work the options through. So already getting some questions. Hey, Kevin, thanks for coming. So best 2 flex PPR, Jordan Howard, Christian Kirk, Corey Davis, and Darnell Mooney. You know, in a PPR, I mean, I don't expect a lot from Jordan Howard. He'll get goal line carries. So, I mean, I think there's some value in him just there. I think if you're playing for upside, though, I probably want the other side of that, offense. The offense is on the other side. So maybe Kirk. And I'd probably, it's a tough matchup for Davis and Mooney. I don't think the Bears' offense is good enough. I might rank them Kirk, Howard, Davis, and Mooney. I mean, Mooney could have a big game. It's just, that offense in general, offensive line woes have gotten worse. The Titans aren't great, in defending the pass, I know. But I don't know that I trust really enough this. And by the way, it looks like I've got this. Matthew Stafford is activated and from the COVID-19 list, he will play. So all is good for the Detroit Lions. Right. We're getting the same news, JJ. I got you covered, man. That's my job. You ask the questions, I do the news. So looking for some more questions. I think, he'll be without Kenny Golladay there, but, man, it's a great matchup. I think the Vikings are, down 3 cornerbacks. So maybe a little something there for, if you're in a desperation mode, Marvin Hall, definitely Marvin Jones. Would I consider playing Drew Lock over Big Ben or Drew Brees this week? I would consider playing him over Drew Brees. I would not consider playing him over Big Ben, though. Big Ben's playing at Dallas. I know, some of the concerns, like if they get up to a big lead, will they pull him or will they start running? Yes. Is there a good chance he'll be part of the reason they get up to a big lead? That seems pretty reasonable, too. So I'd probably play him over, I get the lock. I mean, it's a great matchup and everyone's killed it. So I'm there. I just wouldn't play him over Big Ben, I don't think. Not ready to go that far. Big Ben has a lot of good targets, a really good matchup. Let's get some numbers up in front of me so I can answer cogently. Yeah. All right. Hello, Brad. Happy Saturday. Zeke owner hearing he's going to be out. Need 2 of 3 full point PPR. Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, or Tony Pollard. I'm playing Gibson for sure. I mean, Montgomery, I think at this point we're all realize what we're doing. We're playing him for the volume, the floor, right? And he gets a little bit of equity in the receiving game. So in a PPR, I think you get a few targets out of him. I don't know that I'd force Tony Pollard into the lineup. I think he'll get the workload. I don't know what I expect from this offense other than a really tough matchup and a quarterback that we've never seen play before in a regular season game, or I haven't at least. A couple of Skype questions. Polito, Raphael, Parker, or Antonio Brown. I might take a chance on Antonio Brown. Parker maybe gets the Patrick Peterson test. I'd like to maybe see Tua get the job done before I get too excited there. Is Pollard worth a pickup? Sure, he's worth a pickup. And Hollywood Brown has not been doing a lot. So University Blue, I would maybe make that move. But it's a short-term move, and it's a really tough matchup, right? Once Zeke's back, I think he gets the bulk of the workload. I just don't, the Cowboys' offense has been horrible, right? I don't know that they've scored a touchdown. I think they have one touchdown since Dak left. I mean, it's been like 36 offensive series, and they do nothing but field goals. So there's that. Do you get Randall Cobb off waivers and let DJ Chark go? I'd probably wait and see what Jake Luton looks like before I let DJ Chark go. He's a wide receiver 1, and there's some value in that even on the lousiest offenses. All right, Umberto V with Pope likely out. Do you see upside? Sure, I see upside for Justin Jackson if Pope is there, actually. I mean, I think Jackson seems to have taken that lead role. Pope did look good last week. I thought he looked like the best back, but I don't know if he's really viewed that way in the organization. So, yeah, I think he's a good play. Given the matchups, yes, I could probably do that. And I think Jonathan Taylor is going to split. We'll probably get a lot of Jonathan Taylor questions. And I think Jonathan Taylor is still the starter there, still has a good offensive line. Jordan Wilkins still there, Naheem Hines still there, and a really tough matchup this week. So, do I stick with Gage and take Ridley out as he didn't practice all week? Well, you could always wait and see. Since you have Gage, Scott, you could just wait and see if Ridley's active. I have my doubts about him playing, and I would be fine playing Gage if he's not active. Best 2 flex PPR, Deontay Johnson, I'm assuming. Is it Deontay or David, Kevin? I'm going to guess Deontay given the range of options here. I'd probably go with one of the Pittsburgh receivers. If it's David Johnson, it's David Johnson and Justin Jackson. If it's Deontay Johnson, I'd probably go Deontay Johnson and Justin Jackson. If you have a hunch about Claypool, feel free to play it. I think Johnson is the target monster there, or will be. 5 seconds. Do I get Randall Cobb and let DJ? I don't think I'd let DJ Chark go for Cobb. So, I mean, I get it if you want to. It's probably a better offense or has been a better offense. And Chark has kind of sucked, but maybe it's because Gardner Minshew's had a broken thumb and hasn't been throwing well. I'm playing Deontay Johnson in the PPR. I'm playing Herbert over Carr. Best streaming option this week. Okay, so I went too far. Mel P, standard 1. I don't like that damn matchup for the Giants this week. I do like Shepard, but I don't like the matchup. I'd probably play Mooney. Patrick. Oh, Tim Patrick. If Tim Patrick's active, I'd play Tim Patrick, honestly. He's kind of led the way there. So Patrick, if he's active, and I think it's an early afternoon kickoff there, so you'd have plenty of fallback. So that's the order I'd go. Best streaming option for Brad: Derek Carr, Cam, Matt Ryan, Tannehill. Probably Ryan for me. Ryan, then Tannehill, then Carr, then Cam, in that order. All right, get a couple of Periscope questions in here. Herbert or Carr this week? I have Herbert there. Mike Thomas going to eat this weekend. I mean, if he's playing, so number one, Kamara's been getting like a 28% target share the last 3 weeks. If you go to footballdiehards.com website. By the way, if you don't go to footballdiehards.com, go there. Use the footballdiehards.com/free trial. Check it out. But go to our target section, and you'll see Kamara's got like a 28% target share. So, yes, that will go down. But it'll still be fantastic. So, I think he can still be really good. We'll see what Thomas does. Remember, it was week 1. He had a rough outing against Carlton Davis against the Bucs before he got hurt. So Davis hasn't been as good lately. So, I mean, look, if you're a Thomas guy, you're going to play him. But I don't think he'll eat enough into Kamara's production to bug you. Best stack option. I'll have to think about that for a second. Swim, bike, or run. I'm not, honestly, I don't come here with DFS. I just come here for general questions. So I do have DFS thoughts. I just don't have them very organized for this chat. Maybe I need to do a better job of that. But just let me look real quick and see what I like to stack. Look, Denver stacks look good to me, and they're reasonably priced. That includes, Locke and Noah Fant, or Locke and Hamler, or Locke and whoever. I think so. Look, Los Angeles stacks would be good. I think Herbert is still really fairly priced. And I could go, you could go Mike Williams. You could go Keenan Allen. You could go one of the running backs, whether it's Justin Jackson. So just off the top of my head. There's tons of DFS content at the site, by the way. Kyle Dvorak and Jason Brady have live videos and video replays there, plus Kyle's DFS cash and the GPP lineup breakdowns. I have my DFS tournament plays there as well. And also, you'll find our lineup optimizers, ownership percentages, all kinds of fun things there. So check that out. Let's get back to the YouTube questions and catch up with where I'm at. All right. Steve Linder, need 2 wide receivers out of those. Crowder, Slayton, Antonio Brown. I don't have the official injury report on Crowder, but according to Adam Gase, it looks like he's going to play. Also, he's playing with Joe Flacco. I mean, I don't see a need to force him into lineup. I'd probably play Pollard and Bell in this one and go, you need 3. Moss for sure, and then probably Pollard and Lev Bell. I don't like the Pollard matchup, and if you're swinging for upside, maybe it is Hollywood Brown, but I don't like that Colts matchup for that passing attack either. Is this the week it gets better? I don't know. The Colts are really good at all aspects of defense. Brian A. CD going to bring value to the rest of the season, or should I drop for Hollywood Brown, John Brown, or Tim Patrick? I might do it for Tim Patrick. Look, we know, the problems with CD Lamb are not CD Lamb. It's just his offense is horrible. The quarterback play is horrible. Maybe it gets better when Andy Dalton gets back, so maybe you want to hold on to him as maybe a flex level play. I think Tim Patrick is a steady guy. By the way, if you go to the website right now, we have our all brand new rest of season rankings up. And they're very handy for making these comparisons, and they show you the remaining or the next 4-game schedule next to each player. So check that out. It's right in the middle of the main page. PPR league, need a running back, Justin Jackson or Damian Harris. I might play Damian Harris in this one. Look, they both have good matchups. So I just think Damian Harris seems to have taken over that lead role there, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot because they just can't throw. I think Laird has an 8-point floor in a PPR. I don't think I wouldn't bank on an 8 to 10-point floor, but it's not out of the question. I think that's a little high for the floor. I'll be honest with you. He's a little beat up. I just wonder what he's going to get. I do think they're going to need to throw to keep up a little bit more than they threw last week. But man, last week they played great defense and didn't throw. What if they play great defense again against a really good offense? That seems unlikely to me. But those are all possibilities. Lock and Judy. I'd play Lock and Judy. Marvin and Slayton, need 2. Damian Harris, Hollywood Brown, Montgomery, Marvin Jones, Slayton. I'm probably playing the running backs in these, just for the volume, right? If you want a kind of a home run play, maybe Marvin Jones is it against that Minnesota secondary that's very depleted. Now that we know Matthew Stafford's back. I did not say play Mooney over Jonathan Taylor, no. Cooks, Kirk, Shepard, and Claypool. Need 1 PPR. I'd probably play Cooks in that one. All right. Scott Kobe with game script. I think a game script is going to be the factor there, Scott. We saw last week how many passes did Tua throw. It was a pretty limited number, right? So, but the defense and the special team scored, so maybe they have to do a little more. I think you're reaching a little bit on Laird. Maybe not, but there's a reason he hasn't been playing much. And remember last year when we were all excited about him and he didn't do much either? So I don't know if this offense is materially better. Kevin O'Brien, best 2 wide receiver PPR. Brooks, Deontay Johnson, Claypool. I like him. I like Deontay Johnson, then Cooks, then Claypool. Look, Claypool is a guy who is going to have huge games. If you're swinging for that upside, we've all seen what he's capable of. But if you go into the website and check out the target shares, it's kind of been hit or miss. Whereas Deontay Johnson, when he's healthy, it's been pretty solid. Last week was the anomaly there. Iron Eddie. Hello, Iron Eddie. TD only league with Carson out and Ridley doubtful. I have Bell and Ruggs starting. Are Shepard and Gallman better TD plays? I don't think so. Not against the Washington football team defense. Brandon Neely. Hi, Brandon. Flex, Swift, Moss, Pollard, Allen or Herbert. Wow. We rank them 5 and 6 this week. Toss your coin the way you want. The Seattle, is this the week that Josh Allen gets back on track, or does Justin Herbert just keep killing it? That's kind of your decision. I think both things are entirely likely. So I rank them right now. I have Allen 1 ahead of Herbert, 5, and Herbert 6. So there's not a wrong answer, Brandon. Bradley Madison, should you drop Chark or Antonio Brown for Christian Kirk? I play AB over Chark this week. I'm reluctant to drop Chark. I'd like to see what Luton is. I'm reluctant to drop any wide receiver 1, even on lousy teams. There tends to be some production there. I think some of the poor production in the last couple of weeks has been due to Gardner Minshew hiding a thumb injury, and he was not throwing the ball very accurately. Maybe Jake Luton can do better. So I don't know that I would drop a wide receiver 1 for Christian Kirk. He's obviously not the wide receiver 1, but it's a much better offense. So that's your kind of it's kind of the sticking point there. And I'm probably not getting rid of a wide receiver 1 at this point. Best running back, PPR, J.K. Dobbins or C. Moss. I'd probably I like the Moss matchup better, but I like Dobbins' role slightly better. Don't love that matchup, though, against the Colts. But I probably slightly lean to Dobbins there for me. Jesse Cedillo, flex, DJ Dallas, Philip Lindsay, or Dobbins. I might go Dallas in that one. It's a tough matchup. It'd be Dallas, Dobbins, and Lindsay. I know Lindsay's been great, and he makes big plays. He's listed as questionable for this game. I think he'll play, but he's still kind of limited in playing that secondary role. I'm just playing the workload in this one. Jesse, if you prefer Dobbins, he looked really dynamic last week, but I really don't like the Colts matchup. That's my issue here. I'll probably go Dobbins if it was any other. If all things being equal, I think I'll go Dallas. High-powered offense. I'll give it a shot. Do I start Zeke or Pollard, whoever plays, or Shenault? Yeah, you start whoever plays there, whichever running back plays. And I think it's going to be Pollard. That decision might be easy for you. All right, Taylor is. You betcha, man. Yeah, so Taylor, my expectations are not high, but I think he gets a fair portion of that workload. I know they say he's beat up. He came off the injury report. Jordan Wilkins also was on the injury report and came off. It's just a hot hand situation there. If one guy's playing well, they're going to keep it going. All the Colts beat writers over the last 2 days have been writing the same thing. Taylor's still the starter, still gets the first opportunity. I think in Mooney's case, he has good games, but I just don't like the offense in general. Z. Robert, need 2. PPR, Ruggs, Edwards, Lindsay, John Taylor, Moss. I'm probably playing the last 2 running backs there. Is Edwards? Which Edwards are we talking about? I don't know. Is it Brian Edwards just coming back for the Raiders? That's one comes to mind. Or Gus Edwards. So there's more than one Edwards, so I don't know. And Ruggs, I mean, the target share hasn't been there, right? Colts D or Chiefs D? I'm probably going to play the Chiefs D in this one. DJ Dallas, Shepard, Crowder if he plays PPR. Which one sits? Shepard sits for me. Herbert or Lamar? I'm playing Herbert. And Keenan is questionable how? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Not on my injury report, he's not. I'll have to check that because that would be news to me unless he was added today. There he is, just added. It's hard for me to follow the news while I'm on the thing, all of it. So it's an illness. I mean, I'm assuming as long as he's in a locked and upright position, I'm still playing him. I think you're overthinking it, but feel free to continue that. Taylor has been held back completely. He's been held back, that's for sure. All right. Judy Moss or Antonio Brown for Hector. Judy Moss. I'm probably ranking them Moss, Antonio Brown, and Judy. I mean, Judy's been getting good targets. It's a great matchup, I know. So, I mean, we wouldn't talk you out of any of these guys, honestly. My Antonio Brown feelings it's kind of hunchy. I mean, Tom Brady, is the driving force behind getting him there. Godwin's still beat up. I mean, I think he's going to play, but I don't think he's full speed. Evans has the Marshawn Lattimore matchup unless Brown gets it, which seems less likely. So I kind of want to play Brown. Maybe I'm reflecting too much on the debut of Brown against the Dolphins last year for the Patriots. Brady seemed to really try to force him the ball, and he has reason to do it again. So that's probably the direction I'm leading, but these are all great plays. Brad Stewart, halfway PPR, David Montgomery or David Johnson. Probably go David Johnson in that one. So I think what we can expect with the Antonio Brown is kind of, a range, right? And Hayden, Bruce Arians kind of talked about it. He could play 10 plays. He could play 35 plays. What I just said, though, kind of holds. I mean, this is a little bit hunchy, but Tom Brady, he's living at Tom Brady's house. He's wearing a TB12 hat at his press conference. Bruce Arians didn't really want him there until Tom Brady showed up and wanted him there. I mean, Brady's invested in this, and I guess maybe that's why I'm playing this. Obviously you could give it a week and see what he comes up with. We'll see when Chris Godwin's back, because to me this is maybe a situation where I don't want to say at odds, But Tom Brady obviously wants Antonio Brown there. Arians is clearly a Godwin guy. I mean, he said it. If you go back, I have an article that I put up early this morning on the late breaking update section at footballdiehards.com, where I kind of reminded everybody some of the words that, that Arians has said, that Godwin is what makes the offense tick. It's that big slot role, the same thing we saw Fitzgerald play in Arizona. So when he's healthy, I think he's going to be very busy, but I think Evans is going to kind of maybe the guy taking the dip there. So that's where I'm at now. Anywhere between 10 and 35 snaps is what Bruce Arians said. I'll buy that. Would I be surprised if it was either end of that range? No, I'm expecting a little more. I'm expecting the upper end and hopefully not getting disappointed. And for the rest of the season, I think he's going to be a solid play. Kevin O'Brien, best PPR, Zach Moss, Taylor, Damian Harris. Might be Damian Harris in this case for me. Cats are doing great today. Wally was a little bit excited, got him a little catnip. He's calmed down, laying on the floor here, purring quietly. I don't know where Ming the Merciless is. He's back eating something. DJ Dallas or Gus Edwards in my half point. I'm probably going to I think DJ Dallas is going to get the bulk of the workload. I know Travis Homer is healthier this week. There's talk about Alex Collins. Again, talk to some beat writers there. And I know Pete Carroll said some, we're comfortable playing him. They think he's just there for depth. So to start Dobbins or Pollard if Zeke sits in a 2-point. Neither of them do I like the matchup. I probably play Dobbins because I like the offense in general better. Do I let Gio Bernard go? That's not unreasonable if you need somebody to play this week. Again, remember who the Cowboys are playing. It's the Steelers. It's a tough matchup, right? So, and also the Cowboys offense is not good. Keep those things in mind. But if you need a body, he's definitely looks. I think he'll have a role even if Zeke's active. All right, back to the YouTube. Let's see. Are Matt Breida and DeAndre Washington worth an ad with Gaskin out? Breida, I think I skipped. I skipped some here. I'm sorry. Sorry, Kevin O'Brien. Best PPR, J.K. Dobbins or Justin Jackson. It's really even for me. I mean, Jackson has a way better matchup. They're both sharing. Maybe I lean that way. I think Dobbins is a more dynamic playmaker. I just, the Colts have been very tough. Darius Leonard tells me to play Justin Jackson, but this is really even. I don't think there's a wrong answer here going in. I mean, the outcome might not end up being right. Kevin O'Brien again, best PPR, the DeAndre Swift, Davis, Antonio Brown. I mean, obviously I'm really tempted to play Brown, but Swift, given the matchup and Matthew Stafford back, I'll probably go with that. All right. Are Matt Breida and DeAndre Washington worth an ad with Gaskin out? If I had a good idea of how bad Breida's hamstring it is, I mean, if it's bad enough to keep him out for a week, the week that he's supposed to be the starter, I'm probably not really encouraged by that. I think DeAndre Washington might be worth an ad. I mean, he's the thing we don't know about, right? So, I mean, I think we know what Breida is. We don't know what DeAndre Washington is. Maybe it's a little optimism of the unknown speaking there. I don't have high hopes for any of these backs, to be honest with you. But we know Gaskin's out for 3 weeks. What if Breida's out for the same 3? I think DeAndre Washington would be a thing. Or at least get some shots. PPR, Steve Linder needs 1 Godwin, Brandon Cooks, or Justin Jefferson. I'd probably play Justin Jefferson in this one. Andrea, hello. Need 2, Hollywood Brown, Juju, Marvin Jones, Antonio Brown. Probably Juju and probably Marvin Jones. Wouldn't talk you out of Antonio Brown over either Juju or Marvin Jones. It's the matchups for those two that I find so damn appealing, right? Cowboys are stopping no one. Jefferson, I think, Detroit, not all that tough either. Steve Linder again, PPR, need 2 wide receivers, Slayton, Crowder, Antonio Brown. If Crowder I knew was playing for sure, I'd play him. I'm probably playing Slayton and Antonio Brown. Again, Crowder, I mean, I like him an awful lot. He's been okay regardless of the quarterback when he's healthy. And I haven't had the official injury report yet for those guys, or if it's come out while I'm chatting, I haven't been able to see it. But I know Adam Gase said he was trending towards playing. So, is that enough to hang your hat on with a Monday night kickoff? You did want to have a fallback plan, Andrew. Or Steve, I'm sorry. Scott Kobe, who's your RB and wide receiver sleeper this week? I like Justin Jackson a lot. I like Noah Fant a lot at tight end. Who do I like at wide receiver? John Brown, going against Seattle, will be the guy nobody's looking at. Everyone's paying attention to Cole Beasley. And And so I think he's a great play. I like him an awful lot. Preston Williams is like maybe another guy, a sneaky play if we're going to see Patrick Peterson on Devontae Parker. But Tua's got to come through. Best wide receiver, PPR, Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, or Justin Jefferson. Well, I mean, if you're okay sitting Michael Thomas for either of those guys, I mean, I think Justin Jefferson might be the safest play, but I'd probably play him Michael Thomas if I've invested in him and he's active. And also, since it is the Sunday night game and you kind of will be out at the Jefferson sweepstakes, you would have a fallback if Thomas isn't active or there's late reporting say he's not ready to go. Brandon, I answered your quarterback question. How about your flex, Swift, Moss, or Pollard? I might go Moss in this case against Seattle. He's kind of been the guy getting the ball in the red zone situations. I think Swift would be next and Pollard again because that's not very good of an offense. And it's not going to get better against Pittsburgh. And it's not going to get better with Garrett Gilbert, I don't think, at quarterback. Pedro, thank you, Pedro. Do you have any information on Baltimore's defense? I've got Arizona on hold. Yeah, I play Arizona against Miami. Yep. And, look, Baltimore is a great play each and every week. So if that's your defense already and you've been playing them, all those guys are back, including Patrick Queen, who I need in my IDP league. So I'm very happy about that. In general, I'm playing Baltimore, right? Just every week. And so if that's your choice, I'm playing them still. Thanks, Pedro. Kevin O'Brien, best flex, Justin Jefferson. So the first law of flexology, the law that I created, because I get to create that law, is feature back over wide receiver every time. I don't think Justin Jackson's a true feature back. I do like the matchup. I like the role he's had. Do I think any given week that it could be Joshua Kelly just as easily? Yes. I don't expect that, but it could happen. So I think Justin Jefferson's a pretty strong play this week in particular too. So Trubisky or Nick? Nick, Trubisky's out for a couple of weeks with a shoulder injury. So that kind of settles that. Maybe we should be saying Nick or Tyler Bray. And I'm probably still playing Nick. So from what I heard, Poker Nut 518 is they're all in on Foles for the rest of the year. That they think the ship has sailed on Trubisky. That's what the behind-the-sceners are saying there. All right. Okay, I know Cowboys scary play. Pollard or Dobbins? I mean, I'm probably playing Dobbins. Brian, the Cowboys are a scary play. Horrible teams get offense. The horribleness, though, there has been immense over the since Dak Prescott's been gone, right? So, and this is a really tough matchup. So, maybe you catch a little lightning in the jar bottle with Pollard. It's a tough matchup for Dobbins, too. So, if you have a good feeling about it or a strong feeling about it, I'm not going to talk you out of it if, guy coming in getting a new feature role, but I'd be playing Dobbins. Rusty B 1590. Hello. I need two in a PPR. Cooper, Chark, Slayton, or Johnson. Deontay is in. I don't really want to play Cooper, but, and Chark I would love to play. You're taking your chances with Jake Luton there as well. Slayton, I think he's a fine play. It's just Washington's defense has been really tough. I don't have a great feeling about the Giants' offense. There'll be an article up on the site a little while later today that kind of breaks all that down. So go to footballdiehards.com, roll down the late-breaking update section, and there'll be an article on the Giants' offense that kind of lays out some of the matchups and why I don't like the guys there. Maybe you'll still like them. Maybe it's still a viable play. Because honestly, I think it's pretty close when I think about it. Cooper for the obvious reasons as I just stated. Chark for the Luton reasons. And so those three are pretty close. Go check out that article and figure it out. Right now, as things stand for me, I'd go Cooper. I grin and bear it and go Cooper and be very happy I have Deontay Johnson. Scott Scandal, John Brown or Tim Patrick? I'd love to play Tim Patrick. I'd probably play him if he's active. Both these guys have amazing matchups. I think Patrick's role rises a little higher or has, before his injury. The hamstring injury kept him out last week. John Brown is one of my favorite players in the NFL, so it pains me to not say his name anytime the question is asked. But I might lean Patrick in this one. But wouldn't talk you out of my favorite player, John Brown. Smoke. He's very fast, K. King, Keith, Bell, Pirine, or Pollard? Bell. Parker, Aguilar, Shepard. Parker. Probably Shepherd. I'm worried about Brian Edwards coming back this week and maybe getting back in and maybe relegating Aguilar, and also Aguilar's role is not steady. Look, I'm not keen on Shepherd this week, but probably would play the role ahead of Aguilar's role. And yeah, even in a non-PPR. I know Aguilar's a little more appealing there, though, right? So I'm just, again, playing the roles and the opportunities or anticipated opportunities. Anything can happen, but kind of the logic dictates for me, King Keith. It's a lot of K. Is a very aggressive sounding thing. All right. Kevin O'Brien, best tight end, Mark Andrews or Jonnu Smith? Well, I mean, the best tight end is Mark Andrews, but his passing attack has not been the best, right? And look, they're both kind of hit or miss, kind of touchdown dependent this week. I'm still playing Andrews. But Jonnu Smith's, matchup is not the greatest. So Jonnu Smith has really been touchdown dependent. I'm not liking him not liking him as much as I did going into the season. Also, not liking Mark Andrews as much as I did when I drafted him everywhere in the third round. All right, so there you have that. Best running back for Kevin O'Brien. Look, I think Damian Harris to get the working load. Never did I imagine I would say that a New England running back is the safest play, but it's a good matchup, and I think they're going to hammer the ball and just try and control it in this one. And we've discussed the issues with Jonathan Taylor. Are the same with Ronald Jones. What's the role going to be? It's number one, it's a pretty tough matchup. Number two, he's about one more fumble away, I think, from probably taking the full-time backseat to Leonard Fournette. And also, he might take somewhat of a backseat to Leonard Fournette anyway. So I'm probably going that direction. And yes, I realize that Rex Burkhead is there. We could even see Sony Michel, you guys, right? He's eligible to come off IR. He's designated to return. I believe they have until Monday afternoon, 4 p.m. to activate him. So that's something to watch as well. But Harris is on a little bit of a roll, and they don't throw the ball well there. So that's my direction. Jeffrey Cooperman, PPR, who would you start this week? Hayden Hurst or Jonnu Smith? I rank them 9 and 10. It would be Hurst, one click ahead of Jonnu Smith. And maybe Calvin Ridley being out if you get the inactive list, on Sunday morning. And if you're paying attention to the football diehards on Sunday morning, as you well should, you'll get the inactives the minute we know them. Or if you're listening to the SiriusXM pregame show with myself and Jeff Mans, you'll get them even faster. All right. So there's that. PPR, need one to start Kirk or Judy. I'm starting Judy given the matchup. Wouldn't talk you out. Look, I think Judy's a pretty safe play. He's been pretty steadily targeted. As much as I like Antonio Brown, if I had viable options to give me a week to see what's going on, I might take that week to see what's going on. But I do like Antonio Brown. I like the situation basically because Tom Brady likes the situation. He's living at Tom Brady's damn house. Do you want to go home to an angry Antonio Brown? You're going to throw him the damn ball. So there's that. The Pikey. Need two at a standard, please. J.K. Dobbins, John Taylor, Zach Moss, or Justin Jackson. I'm not getting Pollard. Not interested in Howard, although in a standard league, he's obviously way more interesting than he would be in another league. Yeah, so I think Davis is going to have a minor role. This is going to be Christian McCaffrey's offense again, I think. Whether it's that this week, it's going to be going forward. So in a standard this week, I'm probably playing Dobbins. I might like Dobbins more than I should in this one. I think it's kind of a similar thing between I'm going to say Dobbins and Jackson in this one. I know it's a standard, and Moss gets a lot of goal line work. Maybe okay, so I'll go Dobbins and Moss in this one just because it's a standard league, and Moss gets a lot of red zone goal line work. And you can check that out on the Football Diehards website. By the way, have y'all heard of the footballdiehards.com website? It's a great place. You can go there and check it out for free. It's footballdiehards.com/free trial. It's like $12 for the rest of the year. If you use the promo code DIEHARDS, you get a 15% discount on that, which is great, right? Also, subscribe to this channel. Get your notifications and everything so you can, catch all these. I'm here every week, every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, but we have other great stuff here. We got the Prop Till You Drop show with Jen Ryan and Emil Cadlick. We've got John Lobbs. DFS Cash Game Show on Friday night with Emil. We've got Kyle Dvorak and Jason Brady on Wednesday nights setting the groundwork for the DFS lineups as well. We have Emil and Jason on Sunday morning doing the pregame show. So lots going on here on the YouTube channel. You should subscribe. Hit the like button. Share these videos. It helps us out and gets us a little higher visibility on the YouTube platform, and we like that. So Appreciate you making that effort. And also check out the website. We appreciate you making that effort. I want to just stress the rest of the season rankings, which came from a suggestion on a YouTube on one of these Ask Me Anything. Someone had mentioned it. So you asked, you receive. All right. Best two running backs going forward. Best two running backs, PPR, Dallas, Pollard, Taylor, or Swift. I mean, Dallas has a pretty clear path to workload based on what we saw last week. I know Travis Homer is there, but there is no Carson. There is no Hyde. There might be Alex Collins. He's not worrying me that much. Swift, Taylor, tough matchup. Swift, probably in a PPR, I'd go Dallas and Swift. Thank you, Mr. Mazuka. Need one wide receiver, one flex in a PPR. DJ Chark. Yeah, that's a good point. And I should have mentioned it when I was doing the Chark talk earlier because it just came up a little while ago. Bradley Roby's not making the trip, so he will not play. And you're right, the rookie. DJ Chark's a super good player, right? I think it's easy to overlook how good he is because he hasn't been in a great offense, hasn't overall had great quarterback play. But the Jaguars' defense has been terrible. They need something to make big plays. I think they'll lean on James Robinson pretty heavily in this game as well. But anyhow, so I'm not dismissive of Chark. Marvin Jones, DJ Dallas. I'm going to play Dallas and probably Jones in this one because I kind of think he comes a de facto wide receiver one, right? And it's a pretty good matchup for him. So I'm probably doing that. Dumb question? There are no dumb questions. Andrew. Seems like a dumb question about Marquis Brown or Godwin. Standard scoring, worried about Godwin's finger. Yeah, if you feel, look, if you're worried, I agree with all these things. If you're worried about Godwin's finger, if you have two guys who you value kind of equally in general, and one of them's healthy and one of them's not, I always play the one who's healthy. And I'm worried about Godwin's finger. I'm worried about, a number of things, right? So, and I'm worried about Marquise Brown as well, and that passing attack. But the squeaky wheel thing, Mike Dempsey is somewhere, my SiriusXM co-host is raising a fist in solidarity with you because he's totally buying into these kind of things. And I don't dismiss them. The squeaky wheel works. I just wish the Baltimore passing attack was working better in general. But yes, I wouldn't blame you at all. It's not crazy to go that way at all. Swift or John Brown. Love Diehards. Miss you guys being on every night. Well, I hope you catch us on the nights we're on. Football Diehards is on Friday night and Monday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. Saturday night, we're broadcast on the NFL radio and the SiriusXM Fantasy 3-hour simulcast, 8 to 11. I'm also on Sunday with Jeff Manns on the pregame show and with Fabiano on Fantasy Dirt on Tuesday and Thursday from 8 at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I hope you catch me there. And thank you for the kind words. I'm going to probably play Swift, but man, John Brown is so sexy. Like that guy. And I know, so and one other thing, I have an article up on the usage of the running backs, etc. I'm hoping they get things regulated, and I'm hoping this matchup helps them out this week. Zach Moss or Joe, so let's see where I am. Seems like, okay, so Bradley Madison, Zach Moss or Chark in the flex. I'm going to go Moss in that one. Would I play Judy over Ridley? Yes. And for the reason you state, Pedro, again, two guys that are kind of relatively even, given the matchups. I mean, look, in a vacuum, they're not even, right? But Ridley's beat up, and Judy's playing the Falcons. If Ridley was healthy and playing the Falcons, I'd play him every damn game, and he'd probably be a top 2 wide receiver. Damian Harris or Pollard, I'm probably playing Damian Harris. Look, I don't want to, sound like every question, like I'm anti-Pollard. I'm not. I'm just anti-Cowboys. The offense has not been good. It's going against one of the best defenses in football. So I don't want to get people thinking I'm, going all anti-Cowboy here. Giddy up. Who's better co-host, Dempsey or Fabiano? Oh, come on now. I don't know. I don't think they're actually co-hosts. I don't know. Dempsey is like a host. I'm a host. We have different roles on different shows. So I disqualify myself from that question, Scott Kobe. Deft of me, right? Best wide receiver, PPR, Antonio Brown or Claypool. I'd probably play Antonio Brown. I love Claypool. I love the matchup. I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed there, and from week to week, it's going to vary. And some of this is based on, look, every beat writer I've talked to at least 5 different guys, right? From the AP writer, DK Pittsburgh, Dale Lawley, Alex Kozora. I mean, tons of guys I've talked to who cover that team on a daily basis All of them say the same thing. Deontay Johnson is the lead guy there. He's going to be the Antonio Brown role. Everyone else is going to have weeks where they pick it up and have big weeks, and then weeks where they kind of disappear. So that's what I'm basing this on. Like, if you have a hunch on Claypool, clearly Claypool is capable of cashing in on a hunch or some opportunities at any time. He's super huge athletic play with a nose for the end zone. And this is the Dallas Cowboys defense, which, as bad as their offense has been, their defense has been equally as horrible, at least since Dak Prescott went out. The offense has been bad. So, you know, I mean, I'm not talking you out of Claypool. And my interest in Antonio Brown, I don't want to be the fish who goes after the shiny new lure. You know, you throw that thing in the water and everyone gets all over it. I don't want to be that guy, but I think there's enough to hang your hat on. I've, you know, talked about it 5 times already. I'll talk about it one more time. Tom Brady wanted him there. He lives at Tom Brady's house. There is a narrative here that makes sense to me with that. So there you have it. You're welcome, Andrea. Thanks for coming. I always appreciate you being here. John Brown or Tim Patrick, didn't we do this one? You look, as much as I love John Brown, Tim Patrick I think is still a super viable play if he's healthy in this game. Both of them have great matchups. I think, you know, I tend to play the roles a little bit, and Tim Patrick's role prior to the injury was great. I know Judy's been solidly targeted. Hamler's coming on. Fant's coming on again. So there are plenty of mouths to feed there. But I just think Patrick is the different piece, right? And he kind of works for me. John Brown, another speed threat to go with Stephon Diggs. Diggs is going to get the majority of the targets, and Cole Beasley's been coming on. As much as I love John Brown, and it hurts me to say this, Tim Patrick is my answer. Again. Iron Eddie, hello, you're back. Half-point PPR, Fant or Goddard, rest of season. We can flex tight ends, worth keeping both. It's worth keeping both. If I had to pick one, I would go to my rest of season rankings on footballdiehards.com and see where they rank. Let me look. I haven't done this one before. My gut feeling is I'd probably I think I'd rather have Fant because at some point Zach Ertz is going to be back, but I just want to see what the device tells me. The device tells me Fant. He is the 8th ranked running back or wide tight end rest of season. Goddard is the 11th. Go to footballdiehards.com. Get your question answered when you want. Don't wait for me. Who is your top pickup on this list? DJ Dallas, Damian Harris, Gus Edwards, Sterling Shepard, Jordan Wilkins, or Cam Akers. I might put Harris ahead of DJ Dallas for this week. I think Dallas has a great role this week. I think Harris has kind of solidified himself. I know Michelle's maybe coming back at some point. Yes, Brian A. I don't know if it's time to panic, but it's a concern, right? It's been kind of hit or miss, and he's kind of become touchdown dependent. And I hate touchdown dependent players because that's really unpredictable. I don't hate them. I think Chase Claypool is a touchdown dependent player for the most part, right? Or a target dependent. And that's the same with Smith. I mean, to get the production we want, you know, is a regular, viable weekly play, you want a consistent level of targets, and I'm not seeing that with Smith. Damn it. And I like Smith. Christian S. Hey, finally getting CMC back. Yes! I'm also looking to start Jerry Jeudy. Got some news here. Let me see what it is. Ravens have elevated Des Bryant from the practice squad to the active roster. How exciting is that? I mean, okay. It will be exciting. Everyone will get excited about it. Lamar Jackson talked about it a little bit, said he can't wait to get him on the field. He does need a possession receiver. Is he the key to unlocking this passing attack? I think that might be a reach. But he is elevated and available. And now I'm starting to panic because there's like at least 3 news items that I have not written and put on the site, and I'm sitting here talking to you instead. So you're welcome. How do I feel about starting Locke over Stafford? I mean, I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. They both have great matchups, right? We rank them consecutively. Stafford went ahead. So I'm fine with either. It's definitely not crazy. I mean, there's no Galladay, so maybe that's the determining factor. Hayden, give me one buy low and one sell high candidate. This is not a good format for me to do these things to think on the fly. I'm more in a lineup question mode. So who is buy low? Ezekiel Elliott's buy low. Everyone hates him right now, right? And a sell high candidate is probably the guy who has not yet played, Antonio Brown, because he hasn't played, and you have the optimism of the unknown, right? Everyone thinks he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great. So maybe that. I'd have to think it through carefully, and I'm moving too fast here to think on the fly. I apologize for that. Thoughts on Jacoby Myers, a sleeper this week? Kind of a sleeper. Yeah. I mean, he's been kind of heavily targeted, Paul. I don't dislike him. I'm not really keen on the passing attack, but it's a great matchup for just the Patriots in general. I still think they're going to run the ball a hell of a lot, but somebody's got to catch it. And I think if I had to pick one wide receiver in New England right now, it would be Jacoby Myers. What do I do with Ezekiel Elliot? I would probably hold. I mean, it's hard to say rest of the season right now. I mean, our rest of the season rankings have him probably fairly high. I will look and see right now because I'm fascinated by our rest of season rankings because they're amazing. You can look at them too. Just go to footballdiehards.com/free trial. We have him like ranked 10th. I think that might be an optimistic outlook and obviously doesn't take into account the injury situation. I just think the offense to me is unexciting, right? The offensive line has not been great. Who's the running back you would trade for him? I would probably trade for a lot of running backs. You need to go out when you're asking trade questions. I mean, just to throw out a range. I don't know the size of your league. I don't know the scoring system of your league. I don't know the owners in your league. You need to go out and look at, when you want to make a trade, go out and kind of look at all the other rosters, assess the rosters of your league mates, and, target players who have a need, or maybe that one's a Cowboys fan or whatever, and kind of try and come up with an offer, then come run it by me and I'll, have something more specific. Just a generalization, it's hard for me to come up with something on the fly. Need 2 from Tim Patrick, says Willie. Patrick, Slayton, John Brown, Godwin, or Pittman? Well, not Pittman. Probably given the options, not Slayton. So, I mean, some of this is your own risk tolerance. Do you trust Godwin with, coming off a week off and playing with a cast on his hand? If not, I'd be fine playing Patrick and John Brown. If you're not okay, or if you are okay with that, I'd probably play him over John Brown. Scott Sandel, one more question. No reason to be sorry. That's why I'm here, to answer the questions. John O. Smith, Jared Cook, or Ebron? I'd probably play Ebron in this game. Jesse, 1 point PPR, Mark Andrews or Fant. I'm still playing Mark Andrews. I would not talk you out of Noah Fant given the matchup. I love Noah Fant. I think he's a great DFS option because he's low priced. And Andrews has been hit or miss. Maybe Des Bryant coming into the fold will change the entire fortunes of the passing attack, including Mark Andrews. But I'm still playing Andrews, but it's totally a fair pivot to go to Fant, I think. Hayden, how does Chase Edmonds project going forward, and what could his role look like? So I think when he could establish himself, right, Hayden, as the lead guy here, right? We've seen him look really good, but it's been on a narrow band. I think tomorrow's game will be a big test for him. What does he do with that full workload? If he maintains that efficiency and that high level production that we've seen on the narrower band, and we've seen it, going back to last year as well. But to me, that's part of the problem with Kenyon Drake, right? We saw an 8-game sample, right? And it was really good last year. But some of us were wondering, maybe you were one of them coming in, can he really hold up to that over a full year? 2 things. This is a great offense, and so I do think it can support 2 guys. I feel like if Drake comes back to the role he had before and they plug him right back in, Edmonds, as much as I like him, I think he's kind of like a Phillip Lindsay at that point, a guy I can play if I need to, but you're kind of hoping for the big plays. Also, you kind of get the big plays from him. So, I mean, I think there's kind of a sweet spot in there. I would want to have Chase Edmonds on a roster right now if he's available, and I would want to hold him and see what he can do. We don't know how long Drake's going to be out, but they're saying it's not as long as the initial reporting. So this week for sure, and maybe if Edmonds has a really good game, they don't feel the need to force anyone else in. So there's that. I think that's where I'm at. Any news on John Smith? His ankle hasn't been the same since he got dinged. No, there is no news. He's not on the injury report. He hasn't missed any practice time, Pedro. It just hasn't been as heavily targeted. Maybe the ankle is a lingering issue, and even though he's not on the injury report, it's a bit of a problem. Oh, look at Marquette King is back. I love that guy. He's a punter. He's trying out for the Cowboys. Fantastic news. I like his little giddy up thing he does. Nobody else does. Do you think it's safe to drop Devontae Freeman and pick up Boston Scott as a Miles Sanders? Yes. Iron Eddie, half PPR. So if we know Crowder is playing by tomorrow, which 2? Crowder, Bell, Pollard, Hollywood. Well, if I know for sure Crowder's playing, I'm playing him, but I don't know for sure he is. But if that's the case, if you think we're going to know that, Crowder and Bell. Is Marquis Brown headed for a squeaky wheel game? We've talked about this a little bit earlier. Yes. Will he ever live up to the boom busted his profile? Well, I thought he did last week, right? I mean, caught the touchdown. So that was his boom. The rest of the game was a bust. So, yes, I think he will. I think a lot of this, if you go to the footballdiehards.com website, if you're not a subscriber, use the free trial, footballdiehards.com/free trial. I did a couple of big articles about Jackson, the passing game troubles, and so you should check them out and dig a little deeper. Christian McCaffrey, Antonio Brown, expected return Michael Thomas, Des Bryant's first game. Just checking the news. There's pouring in right now. And you know why it pours in? Because I timed this poorly. Next year I'm going to do it at a different time, but I picked 4 p.m., which is like the deadline for all the roster moves and announcements and changes. So I'm sitting here talking to you for an hour while I should be working. Damn it. So yeah, I think Marquise Brown's issues, and same with Mark Andrews, is just his offense hasn't hit stride. I'm starting to get worried that it will. It just hasn't looked as good. And, we saw it last year. I would like to see it regain that level. And it's kind of wishful thinking at this point because we just haven't seen it. And the fact that they have 3 running backs, 4 if you count Lamar Jackson, makes it hard to count on that aspect of it, even though it's working great. So, dang. Have to play PPR, Sterling Shepard or DJ Moore. I'm probably going to play DJ Moore. Both of them have pretty tough matchups, so. Jeffrey, again, PPR, need one to start at flex. Jonathan Taylor, Mike Williams, or Antonio Brown. Well, I love Mike Williams' upside, but you talk about a boom bust. Maybe, if I feel – so I know we saw the news come through here, and thank you for letting me know earlier. Keenan Allen's questionable. Sounds like an illness. I'm going to check and see if anyone's talking about this and has anything, reasonably pertinent to say. If there's been any comments. I feel like if it's a non-COVID illness, I'm probably playing them. Players generally don't have, players play through a lot of illnesses. So they placed another player on COVID reserve miss, and it wasn't Allen. So I'm probably thinking Allen's going to play and be fine. That doesn't help Mike Williams. I mean, he is what he is, right? It's going to be a 20-point game or a 2-catch game. So Antonio Brown, I have a thing for. I don't know if you have a thing for him. Jonathan Taylor's probably the safe play. And by safe, I mean at least some form of workload. Not safe in terms of what the production will be because we just don't know. So I would probably, if I was ranking them, I'm invested in Jonathan Taylor, so I don't want to go that far. But I'd probably rank them Brown, Taylor, and Williams. But again, I'm a little invested in Brown for all the reasons I explained 80 times already, but I'll explain them one more. Tom Brady wanted him there. That's the reasons. Blakeda Cake. I need a RBA stacked on wide receiver. I have Metcalf, Julio, AB, Fulgham coming. You should trade whatever one gets you the best running back you want. Go out and go out and look at everyone else's rosters and find people who have a need at wide receiver so you can invest the least amount of wide receiver capital. But man, you got a ton of it, right? I mean, you could get rid of any number of those guys and make this happen. So go out, look at everyone's rosters, find who needs wide receivers and has running back surplus, or at least more than they can start, and they're good, and work that out. Herbert or Allen, we've done this one. I have Allen 1 ahead of Herbert. They're like 5 and 6, so there is not a wrong answer. Kevin O'Brien, thank you. I appreciate that. I know it's a lot of leagues. I'm in a lot too. It's horrible. John Brown or Danny Amendola? I'm going Brown. I think, I'm happy Matt Stafford's playing, so that would be a positive. But otherwise, all right, we got about 10 more minutes, everybody, so let's get through I'm going to try and fly through some of these here. Thank you, Bradley. I appreciate it. Keenan Allen added the injury report. Yes, he is now questionable. Illness. I think he will still play, but I don't know this for sure. Thoughts if Stafford plays tomorrow? He is going to play. He's been cleared and removed from the list, and it's a great matchup for him. He has come up short in some great matchups, though. There's been some games where I really expect big expectations for him, including like the Jacksonville game, where it was like a late touchdown to Hawkinson that kind of only saved his bacon. It wasn't a great day. So he doesn't always deliver, Stafford. I'm not saying I'm souring on him, but I'm kind of a little bit souring on him. But this is a super great matchup. The Vikings are really ailing in their secondary. Thank you, Iron Eddie. I appreciate it. I'm ashamed to say I am a three tight end owner. Mark Andrews, Goddard, and Johnny Smith, since you're fading Johnny, don't drop to pick up Tim Patrick. Yeah, I would rather have any of those guys, honestly. So yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly fading him, but honestly, the role has not been as robust as I expected. So, and I think Goddard and Andrews will be fine, going forward. I mean, Andrews, I think, is a better player that's also touchdown dependent. And Goddard's maybe a better floor player, even when Zach Ertz comes back. Sorry, you're okay, Christian? You got to my question, but I skipped it. I'm fine. Okay, yeah, I did skip that. I got confused. Well, I'm sitting Claypool, Elliot. I'll sit Claypool. I'll sit Elliot. Yeah, I'll sit Claypool and Elliot. Look. So Godwin, I mean, again, some of these are your risk tolerance, people. Are you okay playing a guy coming off a broken finger who's going to be wearing a cast and also playing with Antonio Brown? If you prefer Antonio Brown, play him. But you're sitting Elliott for sure. I mean, and I'm probably one of the Tampa wide receivers. Blitz! DJ Sharker, Tim Patrick. I play Patrick in this one, assuming he's active. He's listed as questionable. Sounds like he'll play. Amari Cooper, Gronk, Marvin Jones, Brandon Cook start 2. Cooks and Jones. Wouldn't talk you out of Gronk. And look, Amari Cooper is the number 1 receiver on a lousy offense. So I've said this before. Even lousy receivers do well. I don't expect a lot from this matchup, though. PPR, pick 3, your thoughts. Allen Robinson, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown. Seriously, man, you have too many wide receivers. How do you pick 3 out of this group, right? I mean, it's impossible to me. I'm picking Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson, and Justin Jefferson. That's horrible. You need to trade some of those guys. Get something back. Logan Thomas or Jonnu Smith. I'm probably playing Logan Thomas this week. Any news on Calvin really playing? Other than he's questionable and didn't practice all week, nothing new. If you want to check that out, go to the footballdiehards.com website. Use the footballdiehards.com/free trial. Overnight, I will have whatever scuttlebutt is flowing around, and it always flows around about all the questionable guys. I feel like he's not going to play. That's my feeling. Pedro, would you trade Montgomery and Hollywood, Higgins, or Montgomery? No, I would not trade those combinations for Zeke. Crowder is playing Monday night. Is he totally off the injury report? Well, then play him. I mean, honestly, you're probably seeing more of the injury report than I am because I'm sitting here talking to you. Should I keep starting Josh Allen even though the guy I play has all 3 Bills receivers? Hey. I mean, you're going to give up a lot of points to him unless he runs for all of them. So, I mean, it depends on what your options are, is what I would say. I mean, would I play Joe Flacco over him? No. So, there you go. Thanks, Jeffrey. You have a great week, too. Dobbins, Pollard, if Zeke is out, or Dallas. If you're only playing one of those guys, I'm probably playing Dobbins. Wouldn't talk you out of Dallas. Probably not going to play Pollard because I think it's a lousy matchup. To shore my wide receiver and running back bench, which quarterback would I trade between Herbert or Josh Allen? I'd hope Josh Allen had a big game this week, and I would trade him. I love Herbert. Right. I mean, we talked about this earlier. They're supposed to play, but do I know for sure they're playing? Do you know for sure they're playing? Does Manish Mehta know for sure they're playing? I don't know. Do we know their injury status even? I know Darnold's doubtful. He's playing with Flacco. So, yes, I've heard that they're supposed to be playing. If you go to footballdiehards.com website, you will read my article that says they're expected to play. So, when someone asks me a question, he's playing, or are you playing him if he's playing? Okay, we can do that. But for me to say somebody who is expected to play is going to play is me predicting the future, and I can't do that. So that's a you thing, right? I guess that's my point. I don't mean to, be snotty about it, but I mean, those are decisions you have to make. What if he gets, he's hurt? What if he strains it in pregame warmups, right? I mean, I'm not going to say someone is playing, and that was how the question was framed, not expected to play. If you go to the site, I've written it up as expected to play. Just traded Moss for Edmonds. What do you think? I I mean, I think, if Drake's coming back, I think that's probably not an unreasonable trade. I think it's not unreasonable. When I activate CMC from IR, I must drop one. Lindsey, Gio. I drop Gio. Tried to trade all week. The guys in my league won't budge much on RBs. I have 2 offers out there now. I have D. Cook. Ooh. I won't budge on RBs. I have 2 offers out there now. I have Dalvin Cook, CEH, and Carson as my backs now. Oh, man. I mean, I think you're good. Boy, once Carson's healthy, I mean, that's a murderer's row, right? I mean, man, Dalvin Cook alone. CEH is maybe if you're trying to move somebody there, but I think you're pretty locked in. I'm trying to scroll back and see what your options were if you were trading. Man, I think you're in pretty good shape there. Needed 2, so it's now Pollard or Dallas. You said, yeah, I played Dallas over Pollard based on the matchup. All right, got a few more minutes. If you want me to get snotty, ask me another question about just being a jerk. Yeah, some of these things, right. I mean, as we're talking through them, I mean, you're asking questions, and I'm kind of discussing. I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. And so one of the things I'm not going to do is tell you to play guys that I don't know for sure playing. It's a Monday night kickoff. I'm really averse to taking zeros, right? So I think Perriman sounds like he's almost certainly, but I haven't actually seen the injury report. Well, I don't got no questions. Let me stop and take a look and see if it's out and see if it's official. I mean, if Crowder's questionable, I would still be a little bit concerned just based on the last couple of weeks. So it's not out yet. The official one is not out. So I don't know. That's kind of a you call, people. I'm not going to make a you call. Looking for a few more questions. All right, that looks like it's it. So footballdiehards.com is where you want to go. Tons of content there. I'm about to write a bunch of articles. Dalvin or DJ Dallas. Come on now, Scott. I might go Dalvin Cook in that one. Everyone knows I'm a Dalvin Cook freak. As good as DJ Dallas is. So footballdiehards.com. I'll have a bunch of articles going up right now on things like Matt Stafford playing, Des Bryant getting elevated, Keenan Allen listed as questionable. We'll get the injury report straightened out. But as of now, my last report, just like Manish Mehta, I expect them to play as well. So, but that's the expectation. It's not a known. So depends on how the question is framed. So tons of stuff there. Constant stream of breaking updates right up through each kickoff window. So we'll have the inactives there as well. There'll be a great pregame video with Emil Cadlick and Jason Brady talking all the latest information, setting some DFS lineups. And the pre-game I'd start out with Akins if you're in a tight end premium for sure. Dalvin Cook is the only guy sexier than John Brown. I'll say that. And also tons of video content. Again, the prop till you drop prop bet video with Jen Ryan. She does a great job on that. John Laub's DFS video, his college football. If you're into the college fantasy football, John Laub has you covered. Emil Cadlick doing a capable job of hosting all these shows. Wednesday night, our initial DFS show. Check that out. Go check out the sit start column by Brad Cruz, one of the top high-stake players in the games each and every week. Tons of other stuff, too. Early in the week, Evan Tarciano, Kyle Dvorak, Matthew Charon chime in on the free agent moves. So get there Monday, Tuesday. You'll find that information waiting for you. So much stuff. Justin Linero's digging in the crates, cheap DFS plays, my tournament plays, Kyle's cash and DFS lineup, cash and tournament lineup breakdowns, John Laub's DraftKings sheet of knowledge. He's the scholar. All right, everybody. Good luck in week 9. Appreciate the time. Appreciate you coming. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Hit the subscribe button. Footballdiehards.com/free trial. Listen to me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio every day but Wednesday. And on Wednesday, when you're not listening to me on there, go listen to the Football Diehards podcast with myself, Justin Linero, and Kyle Dvorak. That's all, everybody. Over and out.